All right, welcome back to Cast Simplified channel. And I believe everyone can hear me. Today, we are going to take a look at HTML. That is the hypertext markup language. And whatever that we are going to discuss here today will be suitable for grade 10, 11, and 12 as well. So join me. If you have any question, don't forget to type your questions in the comment section. Then I'll read and address everybody's concern. Right. The link also, I'll share the link also for this data file, the data file that we are going to use. So you can also click and then use the same data file. Now, let's start with the introduction of the HTML. Now, the HTML stands for the hypertext markup language. So the H is the hyper, T is the text, and then markup language. Now, just like any other language, we have different computer languages, like Fortran. We have also C++, C#, and then we also have HTML, which is a language basically created to be able to deal with web pages. In other words, HTML is used to create web pages. Now, they use what we call tags to describe the structure of a web page. So HTML tag will now tell the browser how to display the content. So I'm going to show you different tags today. Now, the file extension of HTML is .html or .htm. So we will save them. So whatever that you do, and then when you are done, you are saving it, you put .html. Now, the HTML editor is a program or software used to create web pages. And then the example is the Notepad++. We can also use Notepad to create it, but then for CAT, we normally use the Notepad++. We have other editors that we can use to make HTML code or text. Right. And then the web browser is the one that's used to view different HTML documents. So we have example like the Google Chrome, Edge, Firefox, and then the Safari. So whatever that you do in HTML, if you want to view the content, you need a web browser. Then we also have HTML syntax. And then when you talk about syntax, they refer to the spelling and then the grammar of the HTML language. So we have different structures or syntax that we need to follow. They are the rules that we have to follow whenever we are creating a web page. Now, most HTML tags are paired, and then they have the open tag and then the closing tag. So the open tag are always enclosed within angle brackets. So for an example here, we have HTML tag, which is this bracket. They are always enclosed within this bracket, which we call the angle bracket. So now, when they don't have /, it is the open tag. Now the close tag will always have the /, which shows where the page or where that tag is ending. So the open tag, as you can see here, there is no /, and then the close tag, there is a /. So we are going to take a look at some of these. Some of the tags are not having open and close tag. So the tag that do not need a close tag is called container tag. You must know this also in your theory. The tag that does not need a close tag, we call it the container tag. And then the tags that only have the opening tag, but no closing tag, are also called empty tags. They are also called empty tag. For an example, if you want to use the HR does not have the close tag. It only have the open tag. So all those tags are called the empty tags. Right, so basically this is the theoretical aspect of the HTML. You should know what it stands for, what is tag, and what is HTML editor, syntax, web browser, and then the open tag, the close tag, then also empty tag. Now we move straight to the structure of any HTML, the basic structure of HTML tag. We always begin with HTML tag, showing that we are using the HTML language so that the browser will recognize all the tags that are part of the HTML. So that's the first tag. We use the HTML tag. And then we close it also with HTML tag. So the open tag is HTML, and then the close tag, you close it with the HTML as well. Now, followed by a container tag called the head tag, which contains the title tag. So just after the HTML, then we have the head tag, which contains the title tag. It always contains the title tag. And then the title tag shows the browser, whatever that will be displayed in the browser tab, which we are going to also take a look at. That's what we call the browser out, the title tag, right? So we will also look at how the title tag functions. And then just after the container tag, the head tag, we have the body tag. So the body tag basically, that is where, or it contains the entire content of the document. So whenever you open the body tag, that is where the content will start. So that's the body tag, and then you close it with the HTML. So basically, this is the structure of the HTML. It starts with the HTML tag, followed by the head, the title, and then the body tag. So we have other tags. The body tag also has attributes. The attributes, basically the part which is always within a tag. So the body tag has the following attributes, which is the text, and it said the color of the body of the text. In other words, the font color. And then also the BG color, which said the background color of the body or the content. Then we also have the background, which said the background image of the page. So these are the three attributes of the body. And remember, whenever you are typing the attribute, it should be inside the tag. Example, body. And then we have, if you want to set the text, the text equals to yellow. So it should be inside the body tag. It should be inside the body tag. Right. Then we have the comment. Whenever you see the exclamation mark with these two dots, and then inside the angle bracket, we call it the comment, which does not display on the web page. Now let's go to the different formatting tags. The first one that we'll be looking at is the heading 1, which is H1. We have headings H1 up until H6. So which is similar to Microsoft Word heading style. Now, if you go to Word heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. So in HTML, we use H1 to represent heading 1, H2 to represent heading 2, up until the smallest heading style, which is H6. And these are also having the open tag and then the close tag. So the close tag is /H1. Then the heading style are always having only one attribute, which is align. So if you want to align your heading to the center, to the right, or to the left. Then the next one is P, which stands for paragraph tag. The paragraph tag also, we use P, and then it shows or it sets up a paragraph for you where the paragraph will begin and then where it will end. Now, the paragraph also opens a line for you. If you want to get an empty space, it will create a space for you. And then it also has an attribute called align. So whether to align to the left, right, or justify. So left, right, or justify, or center. Remember, center is written as ER. We are going to also look at this. Then BR, which is the line break, which insert a single open line. We call the line break. So when you put one BR, it sets up or it inserts a single open line for you. Now, take note of this. The BR is an empty tag. It has only one tag. That is why you see the forward slash just after the BR. So it is called the empty tag. There's no attribute for it. Now, we also have the HR, which is an empty tag, which is the horizontal rule or the horizontal line. It creates a horizontal line for you across the page, and it has three attributes such as size, the color, and then the width. So it specifies the size, that's the thickness of the line, and then the color of the line, and then the width of the line. How long do you want the line to occupy the page? Then we also have the B, which stands for bold, U is underline, and then I is italic. They do not have attributes. Then font also, we can set up font in HTML by using the font tag, which has the open and close tag. Now, the font has three attributes. We have the face, which displays different font types, like for example, Calibri and the rest. Now, the size set the font size for you, and then the color also set the font color for you. Now, we also have another tag called center. Center is also used to align text or image, especially image. Images, you cannot use align equal to center. It doesn't work. So for images, we always use what we call center tag to center an image. Then we have OL, which is ordered list. OL stands for ordered list. Now, when you talk about ordered list, there's an order like from 1, 2, 3, or A, B, C. So it creates a numbered list. That is A, small a, 1, I, and then also 1, which is small. Now, it has one attribute, which is called type. So the type set the numbering style for you, whether you want to use A, B, C, or small a. So we say OL type equals to. Then each of the items in the list, we use LI. We are going to take a look at it. Then the UL is an ordered list. An ordered list. That's bullet. It doesn't have a particular pattern or order. So we use UL to represent bullet. So normally we create a bullet. We also have type for square, circle, or if you want to use an image as a bullet. So we use UL type equals to then the name of the image. So we will be looking at it. And then the LI, which is the list item. LI stands for list item. So each list item within a bullet or numbering must be enclosed within a tag called LI. So hence we call the list item. It has no attribute. Now the links, we have hyperlink. We use the A, which stands for an anchor. Now, href. href is an attribute which represents the hyperlink reference, which or where is it referred to, whether it is going to be referred to an image or to be referred to an empty space, or you are going to refer to a web address. So we use href, which stands for hyperlink reference, which specify the URL or the location of the file. And then we also have the target, which specifies where to open the link document. For example, if you want to create a link so that it takes you to a blank page, when you click on it, it creates another tab for you, a blank page. Then we use href, then you put the name, then the target equals to _blank. So meaning that you want to open a new blank page, or _self, that means it must go to the same page. So we use also a target. Then we have a name. A name also creates a bookmark, which we call a target location. So if you want to name a specific location within your page so that you can create a hyperlink to it, we use a name. That is called a bookmark, a target location. Now, if you want to hyperlink to a bookmark, we say ahref equals to then hashtag the name of the bookmark. So when you are linking to a bookmark, we put hashtag and then the name of the bookmark. We will also look at this example. Now, we also have images and video. Now, if you want to insert an image, it's img src. If you want to insert a video, it's vid src equals to, then you specify the name of the image dot the extension. So the video dot extension, right. So src equals to the name of the video dot its extension. So that's, and then the video and images, they have attributes like the align, where you want to align your image. Like I told you, you cannot say align equals to center. It will not work unless you put a center tag for image or a video. And then also the border, the weight of the image, the height, the alternative text, and then the border color. We will also look at them. And then how to create a multi-level list. How to create a multi-level list is so one list called outline list. One list inside another list. We will also look at it. And then the table. Now, whenever you are creating a table, we use the first tag called table. And then each table has a row and then a column. So a table tag is used to create a table. And then you open a table row, which is TR. Then within the table row, you have the TD or TH, which is the table data, which creates the cell. So it creates a cell for you. Now, then you close your TR and then you close your table. Now the table has the following attributes. We have the border, which is the border of the table, BG color for the background color, the width of the table, and then the cell spacing. The cell spacing set the spaces between the table cells, and then also the cell padding is set the space between the cell borders. So the cell padding is the content of the cell and then the borders of the cell, the spaces in between. Then the cell spacing will be the spaces in between different cells. So we will look at that. Then the TH, which stands for the table head. The table head, it creates the table heading, which is always centered and then also bold. Then the TD, which creates the cell for you in the table. And then the TR defines the row in the table. And then for the TD or the TH, they have the following attributes, such as align. It also has the V align, which is the vertical alignment, and then the col span, which merges the columns, and then the row span, which merges the rows as well. So basically, this is what you need to know about HTML. So like, for instance, if we are to create a table, you start by putting the table tag, you close the table tag, and each row, you start creating the row. So this is row 1, and it ends here. So within this row, you have a table data inside TD and TD, and then inside the TD, you have the content of that cell in it. So you use each row and then you create it. Now the headings, we have, let's say I want to create a heading. If I want to create a heading, I have to use, and then instead of that, I must use TH, which is the table head, and then I close the TH. So the table head, we represent it by TH, and then you close it. Right. So basically, this is how the table, now like I showed you the call span. Call span is an attribute of TD or TH. Call span, you are merging columns. So here it says call span equals to 2. That means we are combining these two columns. And then if you are merging rows, it will be row span. If you want to merge these two rows, so row span equals to 2. So that is how the call span and then the row span work. Right. And then whenever you are creating a multi-level list, if one list is not done, you don't have to open another one. We'll also look at it with the list items and then the UL and then the OL. Right. So now let's start with the first question. But before I start with the first question, I want to open a new HTML, then I'll start with the basics, then we'll start answering questions. So, like I said, we need Notepad++, so you go to Start, and then you type Notepad++. Equally, if you don't have Notepad++ installed, which is free, you can download it and then install. You can also use Notepad to create your page. So I'll open my first page. I'm going to create my first page. Right. So this is the first page. If you want to create another page, you just double click next to it. This is the first page, new one. You can double click here. It creates multiple pages. If you want to create another page so that you can create your new web page, you do that. Right. Now I start with my first page, so I can close it as well. Now the first page, to start the syntax or the structure of the web page, you start with HTML. Now, within the HTML, we open the head container, and then it also contains the title. So I want to type my title. Here the title will be first page. Now, then I close my title tag because title is having both the open tag and close tag. So you have to close it. Then when you are done closing your title tag, you close your head tag. Remember, anytime you are closing, you place the /. So this is the close tag for my head tag, and this is the close tag for the title. Then you open the body tag, and then you close your body tag. Then you close your HTML tag. Right, this is the basic structure. So whenever you are creating a web page using HTML, this is how the structure should be. Now, after this, I must save the page. So to save your first page, click on File. You go to Save As. Now you select the location of your file. Let's say I want to put it on my folder. And then I type the new name, which is home page. Now, when you type the file name, you put .html to show that, or to put the file extension to show that this page will be created using HTML. So you put .html. You don't need to worry yourself and change the save as type. Just put the file extension here, .html. Then I save it. Now, the moment I save it as HTML file, all my text will be changed to blue color. Now, if you want to see, when I click on HTML, it closes also well for me. Let's say I omitted the forward slash. If I click, it does not select the resulting close tag. Now, so meaning here I must put the forward slash. So this is the close tag for HTML, and this is the open tag, and that's the close tag. So always check whether you have closed all your tags. This is the head tag, and this is the close. This is the title, and that's the close tag. And this is the body tag, and that's the close tag. Now let me go and open that page. This is the home page. If I double click on it, it opens for me. There's nothing, there is no content. Now go and check. My first page is shown in the browser tab. So that's how the title works. In most cases, you'll get a question that says it should display as the browser tab. It means make it as a title. Right. So that's it. Now, I start my first content. Like I told you, the body tag has attributes like the text, which shows the text color. So if I want the text color to be, let's say, red. So anytime you put the attribute, then you assign it by putting equal sign, then the value should be inside inverted comma. So text equals to red. Now, take note, the attributes are mostly in red font color when you type. So then I press space. The attribute should not be outside the tag. I cannot say text equals to red. It's wrong. It should be inside the tag. So now text color. Then if I want the background color, BG color. Please take note, BG color, we spell it in American language or American English, not UR. If I put UR, it will give me a wrong attribute. That's why the color has changed. It should be red like this one. So I must remove the U. BG color means background color. So BG color equals to, let's say I want it to be light blue. Light blue. Please take note, light blue, you don't put space, it's one word. And then, so that's the background color, that's the text color. Then we also have the last attribute, which is the image. If I want to assign an image as the background image, I say background equals to, maybe I have an image called SirAntwi.jpg. So if I want the background as an image, background equals to the name of the image dot the extension of that image. So please take note. They can ask you questions to set the text color or to set the background color or the background image. Right. So these are the three attributes for body. Now, I start my first page. I want the heading H1. H1, like I said, is heading 1. So the heading 1 will be system technology. Or maybe CAT grade 12. Topic outline. Right. And then I close my tag. Don't forget, you can close it by putting the next line. It still works. It can be on the same line or it should be on the next line. They are still the same. Now, you can see here that CAT grade 12 topic outline, I've made it as heading 1 style. So now I can center it. So I say align. Align equals to center. So I want this heading to be centered. And then I put the attribute of the H1 as align. Good. When you are done, you click on save button, not save as. So save button. Now, let me go and check my page again. If I refresh it, this is the page, which shows the heading. The title is my first page. And then also the heading CAT grade 12 topic outline as heading 1 style, and I centered it. Right. Now, if I want to use H2 align equals to justify. And then the same CAT grade 12 topic outline. And then I close my H2. Right, then I save it. Now look at how it's going to. If I refresh it, this is heading 2, which is smaller than heading 1. And then I made it justify, which is on the left-hand side. So basically, you can put the heading style from heading 1 up until heading 6, the smallest one, which is heading 6. Right. Now we move straight to another tag, which is paragraph P. So P stands for paragraph. So if I want to set a paragraph, let's say I have a content here. Let me go and copy something and put it there. And then I make it as 1 paragraph. Right. So I'm going to make all this as a paragraph. So where the paragraph ends, you close the paragraph tag where it is ending. So the paragraph begins from here and it ends this side. So I make it as 1 paragraph. At the same time, paragraph also has attribute align. Align equals to, let's say, left. And then I save it. So if I refresh it, so this is the paragraph, and you can see the text color is red. Now, so that's how we set paragraph. If I want to make a specific content to be bold, let's say I want to bold HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. I want to bold from here. So I put a tag called B. B stands for bold. Or you can say strong. They are the same. Either use B or you can say strong. Let me use strong here. Strong is also used for bolding. So strong, then I close it, or B. Now I save my page. I refresh it. So you can see both HTML was bold and then hypertext markup language is also bold. Right. So basically bold is B. And then if you want to underline, you say U. If I want to underline this, I use U. So U stands for underline. And if you want to italize, you use I. So I want to italize this. Right, that's italic. And then you save your work. So B for bold, U for underline, I for italic. So you must take note. But you can bold a text and underline and then italize it at the same time by using what we call nesting. If I bold this and then I underline and then italic. So when I'm closing this, the last one that I open is the one that I must close. You call the nesting. The inner one must be closed first. So I close the I first, then I close the U second, and finally I close the B. So you must be careful. Nesting, otherwise you'll be penalized. I was closed first, followed by U, and then followed by B, which was the first one that I opened it. It should be the last one. So in this instance, bold this one. Where is that text? Yeah, bold, underline, and italize. So that is it. That is all about the basic. Now let's move straight to other one. Now, if I want to create an open line, you can see from this page, between CAT grade 12 topic outline and this one, there's just about 1 or 2 lines. Now I want to create more space. Or if I want to shift from this point, HTML is a language, to the next line, I must create an open line. HTML. If I want to take this one to the next line, I must put an open line called BR. So BR means line break. You are putting to the next line. So if I go there, this was the outcome. Now, when I refresh it, this one will move to the next line, as you can see. So BR creates one open line. Now, when you open to BR, it creates 2 open lines. 3BR creates 3 open lines. So there we go. It has created 3 open lines for us. So BR is for open line. So as you can see here, I wanted to shift this, so I created 3 line breaks, 1, 2, and 3. So BR creates an open line. Right. Now, if I want to put a horizontal line, we use a tag called HR, which is an empty tag. HR creates a horizontal line. And then the horizontal line has the following attribute, such as 1, you must specify the thickness of the line, which we use the size. So if I want the size to be 6, that's the thickness, and then the color. Don't forget how we type the color. It should be OR. I want the color to be purple. And then the width of the line, I want it to cover 70% of the page. 70% of the page. If you want to cover the entire page, we use 100%. So we have the size, the color, and then the width. These are the 3 attributes of a horizontal line. Now let's take a look at it. Here is my line. The color is purple, and then the thickness, and then it covers 70% of the page. So if I want it to be 100% of the page, I put 100, so that it covers the entire page. Right. So that's how horizontal line works. Now, let's change the font. Let's say I want to create my new font for this one. I don't want the original font. So the entire work, I want to change the font. So I use the tag called font. And then font, like I told you, it has attribute face. Font face equals to, I want the font face to be Algerian. And then I want the size of the font to be equals to 16 pt. And then I want the color of the font to be equals to black. And then, so font has the face, the size, and then the color. So the font type, we don't use type, we use face. And then the size, we use the size, and then the font color. So to give you the font for all these. Now, after this, I want to close where I want the font to cover up to. So I want it to end here, so I must close this font. Right, so this font started here, and it's going to cover everything within this font because I close it here. If I close it here, it will only be this one. Then I save it. Initially, the font color was red based on the text color. Now, if I change it to the font, this is what I'm going to have. The font now is Algerian, then the color is black, and then the size is 16 pt. Right, so that is how we change the font color. That's how we change the font color. Right. Now, we are done with font. We are done with different attributes. Now we move straight to the next attribute that we should know. Let's check which other attributes we are done with the head, the title, how to set the body, heading style, paragraph with the attribute, line break, horizontal line, bold, italic, font. Yes, how to use the center tag and then the list. That's our next topic. Now, how do we use the center tag? Let's say I just want to use center instead of align. I just say center, which is a tag, and then get grade 12 content. Then I close the tag center. So center is also a tag. Instead of it to say align equals to center, we can equally use center tag. So we have it here, get grade 12 content as center. Right. Now we go to the list, how to create a list. Then we take it to the multi-level list. Let's take, for instance, here, if you want to create a normal list, I use what we call OL, ordered list. And then each list item, I use LI. So my first list item, let me close my OL. So OL, then you close it. Then each list item is enclosed within this OL tag. So my first list item, let's say I want it to be hardware. Then I close my first list item, LI, with a forward slash. So OL, the list item, LI. Let's save it and go and check how it's going to look like. So now, I have my first list item. I want to create more BR here so that I can have more page. Right, so the second list item, LI. So each list item you put LI, software. Another LI, general concept. Right, so don't forget OL, it ends there. Then each list item we use LI. In most cases, the common mistake learners make, they say OL, then they put hardware OL like that. No, OL or UL must be just one, and then you close it. But each list must be enclosed within LI. So we close it. Let's check the output. So here are they, LI 1, 2, 3. Because by default, I did not tell the computer what should be the type. Now, if I want the type to follow a specific, like ABC, I just say type equals to A. Now, it means that, remember, I use the type attribute inside OL, not LI. So it means that I want my list to be ABC instead of 1, 2, 3. And I do not put it inside the close tag, just the open tag. Now let's check. Now it has turned to ABC. Right. So that's how we put OL and then the LI. This is the ordered list. So if I want it to be small a, I just say A. And then it changes to ABC with a small letter. So basically, we use the type tag to change the type of ordered list that you want to use. Now, I want to also create an ordered list, which is OL. So OL is an ordered list. So let's say I have the same thing there, then I put UL, and each list item I use LI. So hardware, the same thing that I want to create. So I will just copy this one. I want us to differentiate between UL and then OL. So this is the bullet and this is the numbering. There we go. So you can see here, ABC is OL and then the bullet. It picks the default one, which is the circular one. Now, let's say I want my bullet to be a square. So type equals to square. Type equals to square. So if I go there, it will now change to square bullet. Square bullet. Right. Now, like I told you, you can also make use of an image for a bullet. So type equals to, let's say I have an image here. Let me check. Remember, it should be on the same page. Let's see if I can get an image. Let me use this image. It should be in the same folder. So I have this image and then I change the name. Maybe I'll make it 1, 2, just an image 1, 2. The image name is called 1, 2. Right. And then you must check the type of image. So here, this image is GIF. You must always check it. So it's 1, 2 with GIF. So here, type equals to, the name is 12.gif. So I want to use that one as my bullet. UL type equals to 12.gif. It should be in the same folder. Maybe the GIF doesn't want to pick, it should be in another format. The GIF doesn't want to pick. So if you have another image, it should be type equals to the name of the image dot the file extension. You must always check JPEG or JPG. Right. Now, let's move straight to multi-level list. Multi-level list. And that is where the challenge comes here. Let's say I want to create a multi-level list that combines bullets and numbering. So let's say my first one is OL. And then type equals to A. Now, I will just press the space to just see. So my first list item is LI, and then it will be hardware. I close my LI. Right. Now, let's say there are other lists, sub-lists under the hardware. There's another list under the hardware. I would not close this LI. If there's another list under the hardware, you don't have to close it. Then you open. There's another list. So I open, which is maybe UL. Type equals to square. So you can see the first list hardware. I'm creating another list, which is the bullet under the hardware. Then I will not close the LI. Then I open another UL. Remember, I've not closed the first OL. Then I put my first list, LI. The hardware will be input. Input devices. I close my LI. The next list under the hardware, let's say I want output. And then you close your LI. Now, when I'm done with the list under this hardware, I must close that UL. So you can see this UL, I'm done, so I have to close it. If there's another list also under the output, you don't close this one, then you create another list. So now I'm done with the hardware sub list. So I now have to close that LI. So this LI here is for the hardware. I've now closed because I'm done. I did not close it here. Now, if I want to move to the next list, which is LI, software. Again, software also has another list below. So I will not close it. Then I open OL, type equals to, let's say that software, the type, the OL type you want to use, small a. And then that list under the software, LI, will be application, software. Then I close this LI. So we also have another category, which is LI, system software. Then I close this LI. Now, when I'm done with the types of software, then I have to close this OL for the software. So this OL here is for this one, not the first OL. And then make sure that these ones have been closed. Then I close the LI for the software. So that you can see this LI here is for the software. This LI here is for hardware. Now, if I'm done with my list, I close that OL, the first OL. So this OL here is for the first one. Now let's see how it's going to work. Here is this. A with the hardware, and within that hardware, we have input device and output device, which is a sub list under the hardware. Then I move straight to software with A and then B, two types of software. So this is how we create multi-level listing. Don't forget that if you know there will be another list below a particular list, you don't close that LI, like here. We did not close that LI. Now you have to start with the new list. When you are done, then that you can close that LI. So basically, that is the technique of solving the multi-level list question. And grade 12, you must watch out for this type of question, not only table. For grade 12, it's multi-level list and table. For grade 11, is the bullets, normal bullet, and then the normal numbering list, as well as the bold, italic, just like the grade 10 also. Now, let's move straight to another topic still under the HTML, which is image, how to insert an image. Now, we insert image by using IMG, SRC, which is the source of the image, equals to, let's say I have this image. This time I'm not going to use the GIF image. I have an image here. I want JPEG image, yes. Remember, the image should be in the same folder. I change that image name to 3 or just 2. The image name is 2, and then the type of the image is JPG. So SRC equals to the name of the image dot JPG. You must not forget the file extension. Then the image has the following attributes. 1, you must specify the width of the image. Let's say the width of the image will be 450. The height of the image, I want it to be 300. So image has SRC, the width, the height, and then again, we also have the border. If you want to put a border around the image, let's say the border equals to 5. And then border color. Remember, border color will not give you red like the others, but then to work, border color as one word. Border color equals to, let's say, yellow. And then I also have alt text, ALT. The alt text is an alternative text assigned to image, so that in case the image does not display, or mainly for assertive, those people who struggle to see images, or maybe partially blind people, or those who have those kind of challenges. Now we use the alternative text. That is why for your pet phase 3, when you're creating the website, every image must have an alternative text to describe the image. So let's say this image was about pollution. So I'll just say alt text equals to pollution. Then I close it. Remember, the image has source SRC, the width, the height, the border color, alternative text. Image is, what do you call it? Just one tag. It does not have open and close. Take note, it's an empty tag. It doesn't have open and close. It doesn't have the close one. It has only one, which is the open tag. So we call it an empty tag. So take note. It is similar to the horizontal line and others. Now let's look at our image. this is the image with the width, the height, the border around it, the border color. So take note. Now, I want to show you something here. If I say image align equals to center, it will not work. Only images we don't align. Images we don't align images. So you can see align equals to center, it doesn't work. You can align equals to left, or align equals to right, or align equals to justify, not center. So here I can say align equals to right. It's going to work. There we go. But it will never be center. You can say align equals to justify. So if you want to set an image as or you want to align an image to the center, we have to use the center tag. You open the center tag before the image, and then you close the center tag after the image. There we go. So open and after the image tag. That's the only way images will work. There we go. So to center an image, you need to only put the center tag. Right, that is about images. Now let's go to the next one, hyperlink. Hyperlink. Now, if you want to set a hyperlink, I will start by using creating a target location, which is bookmark. So I'm going to create a bookmark here on top here. Just after the body tag, A, and then I say name. If you want to create a bookmark, we use a name equals to, let's say, I'm naming that part as SirAntwi. I'm naming top here as SirAntwi. And then I close my A. That's how we create a bookmark. A name equals to the name of the bookmark, meaning that we are naming this part as SirAntwi. Now, if I come down here and then I want to create a hyperlink to that bookmark, I say a hyperlink reference, ahref equals to hashtag. If you are linking to a bookmark, you put hashtag, then you type the name of the bookmark. And then inside that type, click to SirAntwi location. And then I close your A. Now here, a hyperlink reference equals to hashtag the name of the bookmark. And then the message that should display so that when you click on it, it takes to that place is click to go to SirAntwi location. Then you close your A. Now let's take a look at it. So you see click to go to SirAntwi is here. If I click on it, it takes me to that location where I name it as SirAntwi. So if you want to create a bookmark to a specific area, first of all, within the page, give it a name by using a name. And then after that, you create a hyperlink to that spot. So hyperlink to the bookmark is ahref equals to hashtag, then the name that you have given to. Now, let's also create a hyperlink to, let me create a hyperlink to a web address. So https www. Let's say a website that you want to link to. So you type the name of the website. Right, if let's say this website exists, and then you close it. Then go to SirAntwi's web page, and then you close your A. Right, so this one will be there. When I click on it, it goes to that page for me. So let's go and look at it. Here is it. Go to SirAntwi page, but you can see they are on the same line. Why? Because I should have put a line break, BR. I must put BR to separate them from the same line. There we go. So here, go to SirAntwi page. When I click, it should open, but that page is not there. SirAntwi.org.za. So it takes you there. Right. So basically how to link it to a specific page. Now, how to create a hyperlink to a document. Let's say I have a document that I want to link to. Ahref equals to. I have a document here that I want to link to. I have a document, let's say, return scope. This is PDF, and I want to change the name. Let me change the name to new. Right, I want to link this document to new, which is PDF document. So I just say Ahref equals to new.pdf. Then download new terminologies. Download new terminologies assessment. Then I close my A. Right, so don't forget, let me put BRs there to separate them to the next page. Now, I'm linking it to a document, which is PDF, so that when you click on it, it downloads for you. Let's take a look at it. Here, when I click on it, that document will open with the assessment. Right, so you can link it with any document, whether Microsoft Word or you want an image to also open, you use that one. Don't forget, you type the name of the file and then dot the file extension. If it is Microsoft Word, it will be .docx. If it's Word, it's a .docx. And then if it is PDF, PDF. If it is Excel, XLX. So take note, you must always check the file extension. Just check the file type, and then you can check even the extension. If you don't know what the extension is, you can right-click and check the properties, and then look for the file extension. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So this is hyperlink, and that is also bookmark. Right, so we have covered the links and bookmark. Images, video also use the same things. And then the multi-level list. Now let's go to our last topic for HTML, which is table, how to create a table, and then how to also use various table properties or table attributes. Now, I'm going to create a table here after this break. Now, to create a table, like I said, we use table tag. And then you close your table tag. Open and close. And then we start by creating the table row. So my first table row will be TR. And then I close my table row. Good. So this is my first table row. Now, if I want my first table row to contain cells, you remember the row contains a cell. So we use the TD to create the table cell. So I use the TD to create a table cell. Let's say my first cell will be hardware. And then I close the TD. Right. So within the same row, I also had another cell, which is for software. So I use TD. And then TD. And then again, okay, I have only two. Then, if I'm done with my rows, my first row, I close it. So you can see this first row has two cells. First cell, second cell, which creates the column. So if I go to the second row, TR, I must also have, so this is the second TR, I must also have two cells, which is two TD. And then the first one will be the first value for input devices. And then I close the TD. Remember, this first TD is under the hardware. Then the second TD that I'm going to create will be for the software. So that will be system software. Right. So this is the second TR. And then this is the first TR. Now the table, I have closed it. Now, let's see how it's going to look like. This is the table, hardware, and under the hardware, we have input device, software, and then we have system software under it. Now, as you can see here, it doesn't show the lines. So I must define my lines, my borders. I must define the spaces in between the different cells. So I go to the table fair open text, and that's where I must put those attributes. The first attribute is border. To show the line, let's say border equals to 4. Now I go back and check. There we go. I see the borders around it. That's the thickness of the border is 4. Now, again, the table. If I want the table to cover the whole page, I use the width equals to, let's say 100%. I specify how long do I want the table to cover. There we go. So it covers the entire page. Again, so the width is to cover the page and then the border. Now, the spaces in between cell, I have what called cell spacing. As you can see here, the spaces in between cells are too close. Now I want to put the default, I don't want the default spaces. So I use what called cell spacing, which is the spaces in between cells. I want it to be 6. So this is the spaces in between cells, which is 6. Now let me make it more bigger and see. 12. There we go. You can see the space in between this cell and that cell, which is 12. Right. Now, the next one is called cell padding, which is the space between the content and then the borders of the cell. And that is what we call the cell padding. So I use the cell padding equals to 8. There we go. So you can see the spaces in between. Now, so don't forget the attribute. of these. Then we also have what to call the border. If you want the border color of the page of the table to be red, also you set it border color. There we go. The border color to be red. Now, I think I might change the font color, border color to be maybe purple. So take note of the attributes of a table. We have the border color, the width, the cell spacing, the cell padding, and then the border color. You must specify them. Then the table row. My first row shows hardware and software. Now, if I want to align it to be center, I go to this TD and then say align equals to center. Only the table data for the hardware. So you can see hardware is center, software is not center. Right, so you can center them by using the align. And then we also have the V align, vertical align. V align. Let me use for the software. V align. Vertical alignment equals to middle. You can say V align equals to top or V align equals to middle. So here it's in the middle, or you can say V align equals to top. That's the vertical alignment. You want to shift the software to the top of the borders. Right. So V align equals to top, and then V align equals to middle. Vertical alignment. Then also the same table row. This is our first table. Let's say I wanted to put another table with a heading, the table row. I want to put the first TR with a heading. And then I close the table row. I want to insert one table row above this one. So I go there. Now I want it to be the heading. So I use TH. Remember, TH is table heading. And I want to align it to be center. And then I want to type system technologies. Then I close my TH. Now I want you to check something here. Let's take a look at this. This is TR, first table row, and TH is only one. Now, instead of it here, this TR has 2 TD, and this TR has 2 cells. Now, only the first row here has 1 cell. It's going to give us a problem because it should also be 2 cells. Now, let's look at it. It's inserted here, which is bold system technology. But instead of it to cover the whole place, it's only covering 1. So meaning I have to merge these 2 columns. There's 1 column here that's missing. I must merge these 2 columns. So to do that, you have to put an attribute inside this TH called call span. Call span is merging 2 columns together. So I'm putting 2 columns because here it shows only 1 column. Now I want to widen this one to this side to combine these 2 columns together. So I use what we call span equals to 2. Why 2? Because I'm combining 2 columns together so that system technologies will cover 2 columns. Now let's go and check. There we go. So you can see system technologies is covering 2 columns because of call span equals to 2. Right. Now, if I wanted to combine this one, instead of it to be that, and I want to use row span, it's going to cover these two rows. So it's going to be, now they are not two rows, they are 3 rows. So to be row span equals to 3. Let's check it. Row span, if I remove this call span, then I say row span equals to 3, because I want to combine 3 rows together. There we go. It has combined 3 rows together. 1, 2, and then the first one, which is 3. So this is the row span equals to 3, and then the call span is 2 because there were 2 columns provided. Right. So whenever you are using row span, a span based on the number of rows that you have. Because we have 1 row, 2, and 3 rows. So to be 3 calls and row span equals to 3. But if I want to use call span, it cannot be 3, because if you come here, I'm having 2 columns. The TD is the same as the column. So it should call span equals to 2. So that's how we use to identify how many columns and how many rows should they span. There we go. So this is all about the table, difference between call span and then the row span, and then the vertical alignment, horizontal alignment, and then this within this TD and TH, you can, instead of text, you can also insert an image within it. Let's say here I wanted to insert an image within this one. So here I can still insert image IMG SRC equals to. Now I wanted to insert an image, that image that we inserted there, 2.jpg. So if I wanted to insert that image, there we go. So system technology is there together with the image inside this row. So you can insert the image as the content of the cell. So basically, this is what you need to know regarding HTML from grade 10 up until grade 12. We have covered all the content. Now let's check different question papers. Let's check some question papers. I will start with the first question. Now the first question here, is it open 6 home page? Now the HTML, we look for 6 home page. Here is it. Now if you are opening it, you right click and then you say edit with Notepad++. But then if you don't have Notepad++, you can say edit in Notepad. So here I choose edit with Notepad++. If you are creating or you are editing existing web page. Now the first question. The first question says, insert HTML code to display the background color of the first table to a white color. Now let's check the first table. Remember, when you are solving questions, these ones are comments. We don't touch it. It shows where you must answer the questions. Now, HTML to change the background color of the first table to. So this is the first table. We might change the background color to white. So we have to add an attribute called BG color. White was already there. So we say BG color equals to white. BG color equals to white. And then we save it. Now let's check. If I open that file again in the browser, there we go. So now this one, the table here has the background color to be white. Let's check the next question. Set the space between the cell border and its content in both tables to 10. So when you say this, the space between the cell border and the content. Here, they are talking about cell padding. When you see that type of question, is cell padding. Cell padding should be set to 10. So when you see the content and then the border, it's called cell padding. So for both tables, the cell padding should be set to 10. So you say cell padding equals to 10. And then you go to the next table also. There were two tables. Here also we take cell padding equals 10. It doesn't matter where you are inserting it, but it should be inside the table. Right. So now when we save and then we run it, that's how it's going to show the cell padding. Now correct the HTML code of the second row of the first table so that the table displays as shown. Now you can see that the second row, it has a content. Now, according to the question, locate the text that starts with that and ends with an increase it. So there was a content. Let's check. Let's save this one and then check how it's going to look like. You can see here, instead of it to cover, it's only in one cell. Instead of it to cover these columns, the cells are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now here it is only covering 1. So we need to cover the whole page. So meaning that we have to apply an attribute called call span, spanning the columns, combining the columns. So here it should have call span equals to how many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it should be call span equals to 5. So let's go and look for that text. It is in the first one. First TR, the second TR with the content here. Second row. So this TD, we put what we call span equals to 5. You must be able to locate it. So as you can see here, if I check, it is in the second row. That is why this is the first row. I click on the first row, then I went and checked for the second row. The second row, and this is the first table cell. Then I put call span equals to 5. Now let's check the outcome. There we go. So we have combined 5 columns together. So please, when you are solving this type of question, identify, check it properly. How many columns or how many rows are they covering? Now, the next question says, locate the text starting with Sarah, my way, and ending with crown crane, and set the font size and increase the font size of this text by 2. So here, that text inside that one, this text, this one, we must increase the font, but the font was already created for you. Make sure that you don't do recreation, you don't create another font or another text. It was already there, so you don't create again. There has the font face. So we need to change to increase it. So you say size equals to +2. When you are increasing, you say plus. There's an existing font there. Now we are increasing that one by 2. So you say +2. Size equals to +2. And let's take a look at it. There we go. So the font size has been increased by 2. So when you get that question, you say +2 or +3 based on what the question wants you to do. Now, insert an open line between the first and then the second table. There should be a line between the first and then the second table. So we go there, where the first table is ending, you click on table, where it ends. Then you go there and insert the open line, which is BR. Open line means BR. Right, the next question. Find the heading above the second table and change the heading as follows. Display the heading as a caption. So here we are using the caption tag. The heading above the second table. So here is the second table. And there's a heading, which is H1. Now, they say we must put the caption tag. So we have to put caption. And then we close it. Remember, it is after B, so meaning we close it also before B. But you can put it anywhere. Now, the next question says, center the heading. So here, inside the H1, you say align equals to center. Align equals to center. Add an attribute to the image keyword. To display the text keyword, should the image not display when the web page is open? Here, they are talking about alternative text. Take note, they are talking about alternative text. When the image is not open, the text keyword must be displayed. So we go to that image, IMG that says keyword. Here is it. Let's look for that image. I'm not sure which question was that. Yes, here are the bed, IMG orange. We have to look for the image before. This is just the font. Yeah, here is the image keyword. So we need to add an alternative text. The ALT equals to keyword. Right, so that's the alternative text for that question. And then find the text back to top at the end of the document and insert a link to the text to allow the user to navigate to the top of the document. So here we have to check the bookmark that was created, and then we choose the link. So we have to look for that, the hyperlink. That's it, back to top. Here is it. So we must put a hyperlink here. We use a href equals to. Now we check the top. There is a hashtag top. That's the name of the bookmark. And then you close, so back to top will be there. And then we close our A. So a href with a hyperlink, and then the hashtag, which is for bookmark, called top, then back to top. So that when you click on back to top, it will go to the top of the document. So basically, this is what the question wanted us to do. And then also here to change the, let's go to save gap, and then we'll look at other questions as well. We will try and then implement or apply whatever that we have discussed now, and then we'll be able to solve most questions before we end this lesson. 6 gap. So we edit it in Notepad++. And then the first question says, insert the text gap so that it appears in the browser tab. So this is so that it appears in the browser tab. So anytime you see this one, browser tab, it means title. Title tag. Browser tab means use the title tag. So here we must make the gap as the title. That is what the question wanted us to do. And we know the structure of the web page the title is always within the head tag. So we put the title tag, and then we type the title called gap. Then we close our title tag. Right. Then the next question, change the color of the web page to #EB. Remember the colors can also be in code. So we want to change the color of the web page to this code. So here the code can also be for colors. So here BG color, instead of white, we replace with that code. And then also insert an image 6banner.jpg in the space as indicated by the comment section of the code. So here, let's look for the comment that says we must insert. They didn't specify where, but then let's put the image here. IMG SRC equals to 6banner.jpg. Right, they didn't tell us the size or the weight and then the height of the image. They just told us to insert the image. And then ensure that when you hover your mouse over the mount of the picture, when you hover your mouse over the picture, the text gap year will appear. Whenever you see that, it is also talking about the alternative text. So here will be out equals to gap year. Right, so the alternative text, so that when you put your mouse pointer on it, that image will, or that text will show. Let's look at it. 6 gap. And then this is the image. So when you put a mouse pointer there, it should show the gap, or if it doesn't, that's the alternative text. Right. Then the next question is talking about a border of 2 pixels around the picture. So here we say border equals to 2. And insert a horizontal line below the picture with this color. And then the size should also be 10. So we are inserting horizontal line below the picture. Here is the picture. We put horizontal line, which is 6.4. HR color equals to that. And then the size equals 10. Right, let's check if there's any other attribute, only that one. And then insert the following table. So here we are going to create this table. They gave you a screenshot. Now they want you to create a table. First of all, you must identify these. You can see that the plenty or gap here is bold. That means they use TH. And then it spans across 2 columns. So the col span equals to 2. Then again, so that's the first row. We have 2 rows. So let's count the number of rows. We have 1 row, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. There are 5 rows. Don't use this one, otherwise it's going to confuse you. Because gap year in South Africa is occupying 2 rows. There's a row span there. And international gap year is also occupying 2 rows. So 2 plus 2 plus 1, making it 5 rows. Now let's start with our creation of the page. And then they said the table should have a white background. Let's start creating our table. So my table, I'll start with the table tag. Now let's check the instructions here. They say we must check the borders, and they didn't specify the border that we must do. There's no border there. Yeah, there is no border. So the table border and cells fading, the column and rows and then insert a comment in the code below the table that reads C activity. We will check that as well. And then now let's create the table first. So the table, we will indicate our border. They didn't specify our border, so we can say 4. And then also cell spacing. Let's say the cell spacing will be 6. Cell padding equals to, let's say 8 or 7. It was not specified. And then they said the BG color should be white. Right, so that's our table. Don't forget, we need to close our table tag. Now, after closing our table tag, the next thing that we need to do is to start with our first row, TR. And let's close our first TR. When they give you a screenshot like that, do it step by step, row by row. So our first TR. Now let's go and check what is in our first row. Our first row has a cell which is plan your gap here, and it's bold and center. That means they use TH for that. So we start with our first row, which is TH, plan your gap here. Then we close our TH, our table head. Now check again, that table head here covers 2 columns. You have column 1 and column 2. So they covers 2 columns. So we have to use call span inside the TH. We put call span equals to 2. Now let's save and check how our first row looks like. Here is it. Plan your gap here. It's covering our first here. Let's try and then make our table wider. So we say the width equals to, let me make it 70% of the page. There we go. So you can see plan your gap here is bold and it's also centered because of the TH. Now, we go again. We are done with our first row. So we start our second row. Remember, you are allowed to also use copy and paste. Instead of if you put TR, you can use copy and paste also. So TR, my second row, then I close my TR, my second TR. I close it. Now let's check what contains in our second TR. It has 2 columns. The first column says gap year in South Africa. The second column is surfing project. Remember, that's the second row. This is the third row. Don't confuse it. This is the second row and this is the third row. So I have my first TD, which is gap year in South Africa. I start my first cell, which has gap year in South Africa. Then you close your cell, which is TD. Then I go and check my second cell, which is surfing project. I must create another TD for it. Then you close your TD. Right, so here I have 2 columns. First column, second column in the second row, so I'm done. Remember, the TD also represents the column. So this is the first column, that's the second column inside the second row. But check this gap here in South Africa. It cuts across 2 rows. So it cuts across surfing project row and animal rescue row. So meaning I must put an attribute inside the cell for gap year in South Africa called row span equals to 2. It spans across 2 rows. Now let's go and check. There we go. Gap year in South Africa is covering 2 rows. You will see when I get to another column, another row. Right. Then I go to the 3rd row. Remember, I'm done with the row 1. This is row 2. Row 1, and that is row 2. So I'm going to the 3rd row. I can just select and right-click and choose copy. Then I paste it again. When in examination, try to use or minimize time because you have created this already. So you come to this one. But here, take note, this 2nd row, if you check the 2nd question, the 2nd row, the 3rd row has animal rescue and then the gap year, but the gap year is already there. So we don't need it. We only need the animal rescue for that one. So we delete the TD for the gap year. We delete this because that is already here. So we come here and then we type animal rescue. So meaning the 3rd row must have only 1 TD. The 3rd row, check here, the 3rd row is this one. It has only table cell. Remember, we have catered for this and that. So when it comes to the 3rd row, it has only 1 TD, 1 table cell, not this. You don't have to repeat it. Now let's go and check our page. There we go. So you can see this is the 3rd row, this is the 2nd row, and that's the 1st row. Because we use the gap here, we use the row span equals to 2. It merges these 2 rows. Right. So you do that and repeat the same steps to complete this international gap also. So because you have created this, you can also copy the same thing, then you change the values. Now let's see how you're going to do that. Starting from this, you select this row up until the 1st row. You right-click, copy. You press the space bar, you right-click, paste. Now we are only changing it. We are done with animal rescue, and this one also plan your gap here. It's already here. So here is another row. So instead of planning your gap here, let's check. It is surf, skate, and swim. So here, it is having international gap year. No, so there's no need for the plan your gap year. We don't need that row. We need only this part. So gap year in South Africa, we only change it to international gap year. We change this one to international gap year. We are just repeating the 1st step. Right. And then the 1st one is having this TD7, surf, skate, and then swim. Right. And then the 2nd one, according to the question, we have the special needs care. So that one, we change it to special needs care. Right. So we just, the same thing, we just repeat them and then you save it. Now let's go and check our final page. There we go. So you see these ones are inside proper. Now let's check our question if it was centered also. It didn't specify, but we must check the column and row span, table and cell padding, we did that. And then the comment numbered list. So maybe they wanted this one to be the list. So the 1st one will be the numbered list. The 2nd one will be the bullet list. And then the list in the square. And then the top, they are just following. So here we wanted to create a list inside it. If we want to create a list inside this table, we use maybe OL type equals to 1. And then each list item, we use LI for this one. And then this also the second LI. Then we close our LI. And then the final one. Then you close it as well. Right. So you can insert even a list also within a table. Here's the list within this cell. You can create it also as well. Right. So basically, this is all about tables. Now let's do one question regarding here they wanted to link it to this particular link. So ahref. So you create a hyperlink here by say ahref equals to that hyperlink. And then back to top also, the top of the page and then the square bullet. The same applies to this. You follow the same steps and create this. This one was call span equals to 2, and the same thing, you follow the same approach. Here also, there's a table with the paragraphs in them. So you can see that here, the descriptions are taken to the right-hand side. So it's a table with 2 columns, fact 1, fact 2, fact 3. And then the facts are TH, table head, within them. And these are the paragraphs within these cells. This question also talks about the table. Here is the table. These ones were merged. There are 2 columns that are merged, and these are 2 rows that are merged. So row span equals to 2. You can try your hands on this as well. There are 2 columns that are merged here, and these 2 rows merged. So this is TH for the first row span, and each of them is having TD inside here. Right. Now let's take a look at multi-level list. There's a multi-level list here that I want us to look at it. Yeah, this one. And then we will end our lesson. That is 6_airport. That's the next topic. 6_airport, this one. Let's open with Notepad++. Now, according to this question, there's a hyperlink, there's a multi-level list created for you. Don't fly if you are feeling ill. And then no mask, no entry. Clean your hands regularly and maintain social distance at level 1. Then the level 2s are this one, A, B, and level 2 here. And within this one, there's another list. So the technique, how to do this, what you need to do is don't fly if you are feeling ill. The LI for this one, you don't close it. Then you open another OL, type equals to A. Then the LI for this, if you have any of these symptoms, you don't close it. Then you open another OL, type equals to I. Then you close that LI for that. When you are done, then you close your LI for this first one, and then you close your LI for that one as well. So let's take a look at how we are going to solve this question. Let's check where it is. I think they wanted you to create it. So let's try and create it. So from here, or they said 6_2 flight rules. That's a different one. 6_2 flight rules. Yeah, I open wrong file. So let me open the correct one. It should be 6_2. Here is it. Don't fly. The first one is OL. So we check our question. It should be type equals to 1. So this one here, OL, type equals to 1. Because they use 1, 2, 3. Now, LI for this one. Don't fly if you are feeling ill. It's the first list, and we don't have to close that LI. So here, we need to delete this one. It should not be closed. And then there's a list below it, which is OL type equals to A. So here, there's another one, OL type equals to A. For the second list, that one will be for this, if you have any of these symptoms and less common symptoms, is for that one. So you open OL type equals to A. And this one here, there's also another list below. So we don't need to close it. That's the technique. There's another list, which is the fever and dry cough. So that one was done for you. OL type equals to I. And here, the two LI. There are 3. The third one is tiredness. So we create another LI, tiredness. Then we close our LI. Right. So this OL here, we close it here. This LI must be closed because there's no list below it. So now, because we are done with this A, if you have any of them, we must close that one. So when we are done here, we close the one for A, the first list, if you have. So you say LI. So this close LI is for this one because we are done. Right. Then, if we check again, less common is B. So that's why they started with less common here. It's part of this OL. And we don't need to close this because there's a list under it, which is 7 UL type equals to square. So the less common has UL. UL, the type of it is square. Because it's a square bullet. UL type equals to square. And each of the list was here. So we close our UL. We close our UL because it has only 3 sub-lists. Now, you can see that we are done with this one, A and B. So we have to close our OL for AB. We have to close our OL for AB. So we go there, and then we close OL. Now, one good thing, the moment you close it, it will highlight the one. This is for A and B. And then because there's another list for no mask, it's continuing with that one. No mask, no entry. That one does not have anything here, so we must put another LI. LI for this. And we close it. Why are we closing it? Because there's no other list below. There's no sub-list below, no mask, no entry. So we don't need to leave out the close tag. We have to close it. Now, number 3 is clean your hands regularly. It is here. We don't need to close it because there's a sub-list below. So we don't need to close that one. Clean your hands regularly. It has 2 sub-lists, which is A and B, OL. These are the 2 lists, and it's closed. So after that, we close that LI. We close that LI. For the clean your hands because we are done with the sub list. That is the number 3. Then the last one, maintain social distance, was also there. Now, when we are done, we close your OL. Let's check where this OL is closing. It was closed already for you. Then we have to close this LI. You check this LI. Don't fly. Yeah, we did not close it, so we must check where it's ending. Don't fly, it ends after the loss of appetite, before the two. So let's check this LI here. It ends loss of appetite. So we have to close this one. After this OL, we must close this LI. This LI. Or less common was not closed. This one here should be closed before this. We close this LI. When you are done, you must always check by comparing. So this one is closed. This is closed. This is closed. And this one. So here, after here, then we close that first LI. We close it. When you click on it, it's selected here. Right. Now let's save and look at it. There we go. So we got it perfectly. This list with A and B with their subheadings and other. So the technique is that you don't need to close if there's a sub list below. That is the technique. So here we did not close because there was another list. And then the first list is this one. We did not close again because there's another list below. So that's how you do. When you are done, then you start close, checking them whether you have closed them perfectly. Thank you for your time. This is all about today's lesson. If you have any question, you may ask in the section. There are so many other questions that you can try your hands on. This is also a table with images inside. Try your hands on them, and then multi-level list and the normal or the basic HTML text also. Don't forget to always practice and solve the rest of the questions. I've shared the link, solve them at home. So we are done basically with HTML and then Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word, I've done so many videos. I will share them with you as well. Thank you for your time. Like I said, I will prepare series of questions and then I will send to you so that you do it them at home. After watching the video, then you solve the examinable questions also. Thank you for your time.